right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. It's Monday morning, and our topic this morning, we're going to start with these migrants again, because what's going on in Chicago at this point, Chicago has descended into chaos just like New York. And it reminds me of this book I read when I was real young. And the book was called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And what the book showed you was how gangs and chaos collapsed New York, Chicago, and Detroit, and then came martial law, and the whole country descended into chaos. And the thing about martial law is once they implement martial law, then the military runs the cities. But the strange part about it is the migrants, because of the status that they're giving them, they have federal protections. So we're going to look at these clips I got, and we're going to see, is this orchestrated? We're going to look behind the curtain and see, is there a deeper plan and plot as it relates to the replacement of the working class, and at the same time, the elimination of the middle class. You know, I know we are very, very trusting of the government, but at this point, Biden and the Democratic Party have proved to be very untrustworthy. So with no further ado, let's jump into this video. And we're going to listen to the people first, and I'm going to show you what they say in Chicago. We're going to start with New York. So this is fair use to the 1976 Copyright Act. And the reaction I'm doing is to The Bigger Picture. That's the name of this podcast, The Bigger Picture. Yeah, again, this is for fair use in the 1976 Copyright Act for commentary educational purposes. Let's get into the video.
Everybody, this is Diamond D on A Bigger Picture. We're going to touch part 2 on illegal immigrants. This time, they out here extra wildin'. And what we got going on, well, they're in the shelter, and they causing mayhem. They're in the back of McDonald's, they causing mayhem. They not only beating the police up anymore, now they beating each other up. And on A Bigger Picture, we about to cover everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because you're going to help us out, and we're going to put you on. So we want to hear from the people on how they feel on this ongoing topic with the illegal immigrants. Now, we heard from the mayor, and he said, look, we cut some of their budget and gave it back to the city. You understand? So we doing right by New Yorkers. No, y'all not doing right by New Yorkers. As long as we under pressure, we get them robbed, and they shooting, and now they're brawling, they're out of control. But don't take it from me. Let's take it to the streets. And this is Dialogue with Diamond D. Let me see what they got to say, baby. Oh, happy Black History Month to you, my king.
Appreciate you.
Okay, do you know a little bit about what's going on with the illegal immigrants here in New York?
There's so many things going on as per rules and regulations. They make so many rules, but first of all, we're blessed. We're blessed to have, the old saying is, we have immigrants coming from all over. They should be treated fairly just like everybody else.
Okay.
That's number one, But, take care of the immigrants that are here now. It's a big job, man. But you got to understand, the mayor told us a long time ago when he was elected that the money that is given to New York City is taken over to the D.C. and they can split it. Matter of fact, Mario Cuomo said that. He said they could split the money 3 to 4 ways and take that money and put it in Republican states. Now, if they did that with New York, they did that to Detroit, they did that to Chicago. But what about us? This is what I'm saying. The money supposed to be here has been taken other places, and the Republicans had that money. So meanwhile, we never had the money we were supposed to have. That's why the homeless, that's why everything was the way it was. Now we out of everything. We don't have nothing. Now we have to rely on ourselves like we've been doing all along while that money's been taken away year after year after year after year.
His outrage is slavish. His mentality as an older guy is slavish, because at the end of the day, they taking resources and give them to immigrants who came over here illegally who are running rampant through your city. You see what I'm saying? This is what I mean. This is what I mean when you talk to a docile mentality type individual, to where you're so passive, you don't want to say anything that offends somebody else, that you say something totally stupid. You know what I mean? Don't, if they came here illegally, they don't have the right to be here. You know what I mean? And to be seeking asylum from what? Because your country is poor. So you're gonna come make this country poor? You're gonna come and descend our cities into chaos because it's a conspiracy to replace the natural citizens. When I say natural citizens, I'm talking about the citizens who've been here for years. You know, my grandparents moved to Michigan and Detroit in the 30s, in the late 30s. You know, so you're going to come and you're going to take our resources and give them to people who snuck into the country based on a governmental plan that we still haven't came to the realization of. This is deeper than this country wants to help people. If this country wanted to help people, it would help its citizens. So don't fall for that.
Now, he said, the mayor recently said, oh, now we don't have to do nothing. Before I was going to take the money out because I had to. Now, he said, now I don't have to do anything. Now, there's a problem still. You still got the people that are homeless already, and then you got the homeless. You got two types of people that need help. You know, come on. I'm not going to even talk about MTA and the homeless on the trains. I'm not going to talk about the argument between MTA and the police. They can't get their act together. It's a damn shame people got to live like this. This is New York City, the greatest city in the world.
So they say.
No, it is. It is. It is. Because any place you can go in New York City, you can do it in a fair amount of time, as quick as you can, and move on. But my thing is, everybody got to work hard. Everybody's working hard. Even the homeless is working hard. Come on.
Everybody got to have a job.
Come on. All I'm saying, the people overhead, they got to come back down to earth and help us out here, because, we can't do this alone. That's a big problem.
Well, I appreciate you. And what was your name, sir?
Hi, my name is Brucey B.
Brucey V.
Yes.
Okay, I thank you for taking time out with me. I think you did. Hey, it can't be no wrong.
That interview sucked. He didn't say nothing. They still, you still got a lot of Negroes who are very apologetic about even having a voice. You know what I mean? Let's see if it's somebody else on here. That was, he
Wait,
owed.
there's no wrong way.
He owed his
There's
slow.
no wrong way. Right? Amazing.
I would talk about DJ Hollywood and Red Alert.
Okay, wait a minute.
The dark-skinned one. I'm the light-skinned one. All right. Long time ago.
All right,
It's been a pleasure. I'm the one here, so you have to excuse me.
we definitely didn't forget about you, Brucey B. Okay, your name's still ringing bells out here in the streets.
All right, thank you.
I thank you.
I pray everything will work out for the better, because, there's some, all these communities have a lot of love to give, and they trying their best, but, how can we do it if we haven't had a chance to even give it? They got money going from everywhere. The point is, if the money's not going to the right place, to right people, we have a problem. And they've been doing that all the time. People in high places have been taking this money and doing what they can, but the people down low, we've been making money for y'all, but you don't come back and help us out.
No, we still down here low.
No problem.
Hey, Carly B.
All I can say
We
is-
still down here struggling, boo.
All I can say is-
Okay, Jay-Z.
God, see.
We see.
In this video, you can see why New York actually sucks. You know what I mean? Their mentality is so commercial. You know what I mean? It's so warped. You know what I mean? To listen to them talk as if they oblivious that this is an orchestrated plan, even though they seeing it orchestrated right in their face, right in their city. Let's look at some more of this. This is dumb.
God see, God knows, and God would handle.
As he should. God is great all the time. And all the time, God is good. Thank you so much. Okay, one thing I want to say, we got to become informed about what's going on here in New York. There's too many of us that don't want to get involved, or they scared, or they want to know, but they don't want to speak out about it. If you want things to change in your community, You ain't got to be on assistance to make it right. You just have to stand up for what's going on and speak your mind. I'm here in Harlem. Harlem, stand up. What's up?
I don't like, yeah. Yo, word up, please. I don't like the immigrants. I like the immigrants, but I don't like the stuff that's going on. I gotta go.
That's all right. We heard it straight from her. She like them. She don't like them. Mixed feelings maybe about that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I have love for everybody, but I don't like the situation that they are putting us in or our New York in, which is making it very dangerous. Okay, so we just gonna keep moving on. I came out to Harlem to get you guys' perspectives, and it seems like y'all don't really care what's going on. At the end of the day, I guess y'all feel like, which I understand, we still down and they ain't gonna do nothing to help us out. Excuse me, ma'am. Okay, no, they not talking. They don't speak out here.
My name is Kwana. They
Miss
call
Kwana,
me Q. Yes.
Miss Q.
Yes. I just feel that they should help out the homeless that's here already because we have a crisis. It's a lot of things that happened throughout the pandemic and it's gotten worse and now they have the migrants over here. It's a lot. It's a lot and now they're committing crime. It needs to just stop. We need help. We need to do something. Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm against it. I'm against it.
There we go, part 2. We against it.
Just leave.
That's Mr. Lee.
It's just wrong. It's just bringing more harm to us, taking away our benefits and rights, and giving it to them. It's wrong. And if Trump gets back in office, it'll be even worse. So.
I agree on basically everything you said, but can you go a little deeper in why you feel it's wrong? I know they out here, they shooting, and they out here, they beating up the police, you know. Part of me is happy with that, part of me is mad about that. Like, they are bad cops, you know.
I would just say, listen, we have to stand up as New Yorkers. If not, we're going to fall for everything, and right now, we just keep falling for the nonsense. We got to stand up together, because we're the ones that get attacked first, this state and this city. We're the ones that suffer the brunt of this. You know, we're losing, they're winning. They're winning at our expense, you know.
I agree, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So what do you think we can do to, basically make sure we good? You know, the New Yorkers, the citizens of New York. What do you think we should do? Maybe we should go bang on the mayor's door or do a march. What would you do?
If you ask me, New York is through. The mentality of their citizens in the face of what they see is still so slavish in their mentality. In the face of the destruction of their way of life, they still reaching back to the same people who created the chaos, looking for a solution. I'm only gonna listen to one more of this, then we're gonna flip over to Chicago because New York, y'all are pitiful.
If you had the power, what would you do?
Stop voting for certain things. Start voting for other things. You know, there's a whole lot I could say. I don't have all day, but just gotta look at the bigger picture as a people. That's it, man.
Well, he said a mouthful, the bigger picture. And that's where you can catch us on the bigger picture on YouTube. Mr. Lee, I'm grateful. And I hope when the time do come to come together, I'll see you there.
So.
All right?
Yeah.
Stand up, Harlem. All right. Well, there's been said, they ain't coming up this way. They ain't having that. Ain't no part of that gonna be up in 125th. No way. Yeah, okay, brother. I'll see you by the end of the summer moving up to the Bronx.
I mean, looking crazy.
No, you don't. You are beautiful. Who got you looking crazy? Nobody gonna have you looking crazy.
Look like a...
Okay?
Right.
All right, she looking like a wow. Hold up.
Listen, I said I'm from New York, so I already know. But anyway, I lived here all my life. And I subscribe to the TV channels here, and I watch how they're putting the kids, New York kids, out of the school. They gotta stay home. This is what I saw on TV to do work. And I'm ready to come back and say my name, Juan Valdez, to get me a $600 card. Because they didn't give us anything, and they're trying to take back what they gave to us. So how do you give people that you don't know, and you have people right here that are starving? You got New Yorkers still out here asking for $1.
That's right.
So it's crazy how you're helping people
One second.
and not. Charity starts at home.
That's a mouthful. Yes.
Charity starts at home. So where's your charity for your people here? You know, where's your care for your people here? I mean, we can help.
We're going to flip to Chicago because clearly we see that the populace of New York, even in the face of what they see, their mentality is still buffoonish to me. You know what I mean? To even consider that they're being overran and they still seem to be slavishly waiting on the Democratic Party to find them an answer or a solution. Let's go to Chicago now.
To trickle. Several migrants have now been involved.
Okay, this is Chicago.
In altercations with officers.
As many as 4 migrants are now facing criminal charges. They're accused of threatening, even hitting Chicago police officers in the last 2 days.
2 other violent or threatening incidents reported yesterday involving 12th District migrants, according to sources, raising concern about what appears to be an untenable situation.
In a city known for welcoming all, the situation in Chicago takes a dramatic turn. The streets, now overflowing with migrants, make the citizens of Chicago feel unsafe. The migrants, some peaceful asylum seekers and others illegal immigrants with criminal backgrounds, cause chaos on the streets, putting Chicagoans' lives at great risk.
Increasingly, the migrant crisis is being felt far from the border, including cities like Chicago, where officials say resources are running thin.
A total of 17,000 migrants showing up since last August, and officials expect 1,200 per day to keep coming.
This bold step challenges the Windy City's promise of shelter. With laws that guarantee shelter for those in need, the city faces a real test, managing this surge without turning its back on its values. It's a moment that asks, what happens when the Windy City meets a logistical nightmare? The city's budget is already tense, sparking debate among city officials and leaders about the cause of action. Stay with us as we delve deeper into Chicago's migrant crisis. The impact on the streets.
This is exactly the situation city leaders and migrants feared. There are thousands of asylum seekers sleeping on sidewalks all over the city.
This morning, hundreds of migrants are still without homes. They are sleeping at the airport in some cases, outside of Chicago police departments. And as they wait for help, they say the city isn't offering any answers.
A surge in migrants has brought to the fore an issue that's hard to ignore, the impact on the streets, where the narrative is quickly changing. First up, let's address the elephant in the room, safety. With an increase in the migrant population, a significant number of whom are men, there's a growing concern about criminal activities. It's an uncomfortable truth, but not all who arrive seek a fresh start. Among the newcomers are individuals with past criminal records, bringing a layer of complexity to the city's safety measures.
Brighton Park neighbors have been protesting this possible migrant tent camp location for hours now, even launching fireworks at one point. Residents we spoke with say they feel betrayed by city leadership and are concerned for their safety.
The streets of Chicago, known for their lively atmosphere, now echo with the footsteps of concern, as residents and law enforcement grapple with the challenge of distinguishing between those in need and those who might pose a threat. But the story doesn't end there.
Officials tonight said Daly College is an ideal location because it's move-in ready and a fraction of the cost of a hotel. But many in the crowd didn't want to hear it.
When do citizens of the United States of America come first? How about this? Give them all these politicians' addresses and put them in their backyards, in their basements, in their houses.
This meeting at Richard J. Daly College comes as the city, starting as early as this weekend, prepares to use this gymnasium until August 1st.
Imagine walking past your local school or college, institutions that stand as beacons of learning and community development. Now, picture them transformed into shelters to house the incoming migrants. Yes, you heard that right. Educational institutions converted into living quarters, a testament to the severity of the situation. Schools and colleges, traditionally spaces of growth and opportunity, are becoming makeshift homes, a scenario that raises questions about the future of education and community resources in Chicago. This can't possibly be a long-term solution, right?
Our plan for temporary emergency shelter was never meant as a long-term housing solution. But we want to give every person and every single family that has come to our city enough time to process their work authorization, find housing, start a new life in our great city. So we have made the decision to extend the shelter state policy.
This move, while a temporary solution to a pressing problem, opens up a Pandora's box of implications, from the impact on students' learning environments to the strain on resources that schools and colleges are already facing. The decision to convert these spaces into shelters is a reflection of the desperate measures the city is resorting to in order to accommodate the migrant surge.
There is no more room at the inn. Police stations throughout Chicago are at capacity when it comes to housing migrants. There are so many, some districts force new arrivals to spend the days outside so the station can be cleaned and used for regular business.
Police stations all across the city took on the difficult role of not only fighting crime, but providing beds.
The police need to feel secure in doing their jobs. They need to feel secure in the space that they're in.
I think what we're seeing is a decrease in the conditions at the police districts. We're now at nearly 2,000 individuals across the 22 districts across the city of Chicago, and we are losing control.
Police stations, another desperate measure, are also filled with migrants. This begs the question, how can officers possibly do their job properly with their desks replaced with beds?
The mayor's office confirming tonight that the type of giant framed tents that are currently being used to house migrants in New York City are similar to what Chicago is looking to do to ease the migrant housing crisis here.
But the tents, they're not just temporary shelters. They're symbols of a deeper crisis. Stretching along sidewalks, dotting the parks, and lining the streets, they're visible reminders of the magnitude of the migrant surge. The tents remind us of the urgent need for solutions that go beyond the immediate and address the root causes of this migration phenomenon. As Chicago navigates this unprecedented situation, the impact on the streets, from safety concerns to the repurposing of educational institutions, paints a picture of a city at a crossroads. The question that looms large is, how will Chicago adapt to this new reality? And at what cost to its citizens? Join us as we delve deeper into the migrant chaos taking place in Chicago. Strain on public services.
Critics accuse the city of prioritizing migrants over citizens.
Imagine opening your wallet only to find it's not just you dipping into it, but an entire city's crisis. That's right, Chicagoans are feeling a pinch, but not from the usual suspects. This time, it's the strain on public services, courtesy of the city's migrant surge. And guess who's footing the bill? It's the taxpayers. As the city opens its arms to thousands of migrants, the financial burden is becoming all too real. Every tent pitched, every meal served, and every emergency service called upon is a reminder that it's the residents' tax dollars at work. But here's the kicker. Those dollars were earmarked for public services that Chicagoans rely on every day, from schools and hospitals to roads and public safety.
These South and West Side homeowners are angry. They believe the city has overextended itself and should be putting the tens of millions of dollars earmarked for migrants into Chicago's most vulnerable neighborhoods.
But the South Side has been under-resourced, underfunded for years, for decades. We have schools that need to be reopened.
The funds are being diverted to address the immediate needs of the migrants. Now, don't get me wrong. Compassion and support for those in need are values we hold dear. But when the city's resources are stretched to their limits, it's the locals who feel the squeeze. There's a growing concern that as more money is channeled into accommodating the migrant surge, there's less left for the Chicagoans who depend on these very services. We're talking about families who've called this city home for generations, now watching as their needs take a back seat to an unfolding crisis. But here's where it gets even more complex.
I'm gonna end there. You get the picture. This your Monday morning start off. You're starting with these migrants again. The overall theme of this is look at the burden being shifted to the citizens. And like in the comments, people say that these sanctuary cities, they voted for this. You know what I mean? Which is not true. I think they voted not knowing the things they should have known. I think they was voting on the color of Mayor Adams and Brandon Johnson's skin color. You know what I mean? They never really paid attention to their character or their agenda, because in New York and Chicago, they have abandoned their citizens to support the agenda of the Biden administration. Like I said in the beginning, once they collapse New York, then they collapse Chicago, Boston, and Detroit are next. Once they collapse those four in this up north, they can control most of the country. They can control most of the country. And if the cities descend into chaos and martial law becomes the law of the land, what are we looking at? The UN as a occupying force in our communities? You got to think about this. Where are we going with this, people? And that's where I'm going to end. Where are we going with this? Sign it to you out Detroit. Keep y'all head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.